Hello all, it's me, Aki from Bring Forth. This is set 44 part 2, and as you've noticed, I've gotten out of bed for this one. I haven't gotten to stand up because this isn't important enough, but this is still fairly important. I'd like to talk to the US finances section. Not so much the Trump administration itself, but rather the way that the budget is set, the entire US budgeting department. Now, while I believe that it would be impossible for you to dismantle your military in the sense that you would have the budget in the military of the budget of NASA, that is, in my view, impossible because you are still the leading military superpower on the planet and thus you require a stronger budget in your own words, so this is what you should do. But the leading power in the planet should be able to show to the other powers on the planet what is there to look forward in the future, and for this you need a scientific administration that is well funded. So the funding of NASA is currently around $20 billion a year. I believe this should be around $200 billion a year. This is something that you have the budgetary means within your government to do. This would allow you to do things that are consistent with your belief of manifest destiny, or your belief that the United States should find the wilderness and settle it. This is something the United States has said that it is its national idea for a long time, so that it should find the wilderness where there is the new and attempt to settle and attempt to understand it. So with such an increase of nearly 10 times the budget of NASA, we could settle and explore the solar system in its entirety in 10 years. We could have people on Pluto in 10 years. We could have a system of overseeing the entire solar system as a democratic or a republican institution where the people of the region decide for themselves. And we could have a new era of space exploration. The environmental and scientific discoveries that you could make are such that they would probably have a much stronger growth influence on your economy than just by investing in the military. I cannot know this for sure because I do not have the scientific material to back up my claim, which is why I think that you should do a study on how much, after you claim your initial investment of security for yourself, how much economic gain there is in having a military that you invest into as opposed to having a civilian scientific administration that you invest into. My belief is that once you are at 149% of the military strength of other countries, you are starting to lose money on the investment in total instead of just having a reduced gain. So when you have 14 carriers when everybody else has 10 carriers, you are doing just a tiny bit of investment into your civilian economy. But when you have 15 carriers, you are actually draining from your civilian economy. Now, it seems smart at this point to build everything into the 149% limit. But from what I see, the economic growth in your economy will be significantly better if you invest in a civilian economy as opposed to if you invest in military. So from where I stand, you are not threatened in the way with a conventional military enemy that could have a negative consequence on your country in the way that is possible to defend from with the military investment that you do, but you are threatened by civilian risks that come from bad education and bad healthcare and so on. Now, these are things that you should be able to overcome with your own economy instead of your own military. This would result in an economic growth that is significantly larger than you are currently experiencing. So, from my point of view, I'm giving advice to an unfriendly nation on how to run their business. So I do not expect to be received well with my idea. But from where I stand, you do not need to have something along the lines of 200% what everybody else has in military. You only need at most 100%, and even that is a significant gain. It would assume that everybody else on the planet invades you at the same time, instead of having an actual war where some people side with you and some people side against you. This belief in a war where everybody else would invade you at the same time is the main cause of the diplomatic difficulty that the US experiences, and it is, I believe, much more important than anything you have done with Israel or the Middle East or any other thing for the past several decades. You are saying that you cannot trust other nations to side with you against an enemy that would surprise you. And this is something that I believe you should let go. You should be able to understand that your civilian sector is strong enough to build a military when you need it. Because there is no minute-to-minute threat to your country that is able to take you and destroy you that your civilian population can't defend against better than your military population can. Even were you to be hit by a nuclear war, a well-educated and prepared civilian population is much better able to resist such a danger than a well-funded military application or well-funded military state is. After the war, your civilians would be in a much better situation to rebuild your country if there is no military apparatus to get in the way. I know these are unpopular opinions, and there is little chance for you to just suddenly give the NASA people a 10 times funding that they currently have. But that is my wish, and I say this with the hope that you will take the world in a more peaceful direction. It is on you. That is all. Thank you.